Hello, everyone. You're listening to America Meditating Radio. We collect wisdom, inspire each other, and empower hearts on demand 24/7. I'm Sister Jenna, host of the syndicated America Meditating Radio. Join us as we talk one-on-one with leading experts who answer life's most compelling questions because in the world of uncertainty, we need answers right here, right now. America Meditating Radio, a show for everyone to learn more about this amazing thing called life. Wow, good morning, everyone. Welcome to America Meditating Radio. I hope that started you off on the right note as it did for me. That touched me at such a deep level. Abandonment music, which is actually composed by our next guest that's coming on America Meditating Radio. His name is Marco Missinato, and Marco is an artist and a creative communicator who uses the power of his heart inspired creativity, music, words, and photography to deliver supportive messages to people, to inspire others to dare into the voice of their own heart and overcome the fears of limited beliefs and consequences. Marco Missinato's intent is to support humanity and Mother Earth at this delicate and most important transitioning time, which it really is, by sharing his unique music and photography. As he is walking the path, he expresses his constantly expanding points of views and personal findings on his video blog, inspirational quotes, and written articles. And today, I'm really looking forward to my conversation with the incredible Marco Missinato. Good morning, Marco.
Good morning. How are you? Thank
Good
you
morning.
for having me among your beautiful people.
Oh, definitely. When I was looking into you and I started to listen to the music, I almost started to just feel so emotional, like your music really is here to help us to go to a deeper level. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's a beautiful honor to find the voice inside that allows you to project yourself into that kind of journey. It's really
And
beautiful.
and how do you do it? Is there a preparation that you undergo, or is it something that you get like a divine call at the moment, and then you go to the paper or to the piano and start to put it down?
Oh, I think you are addressing to the creative process, correct?
Yes.
Okay, the creative process is in many ways, at least in my experience, of course, everybody has different ways to create, but in my experience, it's a very mysterious process. It requires a state of no mind. So you basically surrender. At least I surrender to the moment, to the present moment, and then by connecting with a musical instrument, feel things happen in a very mysterious way, we can say. And
Mhm.
because the mind is not involved with the process, I have to basically record whatever comes because it comes in one passage and I cannot repeat it because the mind is not involved, so I don't remember it.
Wow, I love
And so
that.
that's how I begin. I begin to what many call composition. I call it more like creative process.
The creative process. So how do you get your mind out of the way for that energy to come up?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question because to getting the mind out of our way is not simply something that only the artist should do, but at this given time, it's what whole humanity needs to do in order to be able to proceed in a very successful way. But to answer your question, for me, it's an act of surrendering. You basically surrender. So, just to have a very simple example, let's say I wake up in the morning
Mhm.
and I have things to do, because we all have things to do. And it can be as simple as taking a shower, for example. Well, I completely surrender to the idea of taking a shower. So I release any expectations and I release any idea of past and future. And so I allow the shower to take place itself, the experience of taking the shower to take place by itself without any contraction or without any needs, expectation, or anything. And I completely step out from the idea of space and time, and I allow the shower to just simply be.
Hmm. Now, does it
And with
usually
that,
take a long time? I mean, does it take a long time? Is it sometimes instant, or does it vary that it depends on just the day, the energy in the space where you're at?
yeah, when it takes time, you are not connecting fully because the
Right.
idea of time and space is still a 3D idea. It dwell with the idea of polarity. And so
Right.
when you are in the idea of time and space, you're still in your mind. But as soon you step out of it, even if it's at one moment, in that moment, divine source can express fully through yourself. And when I say divine source, I mean basically you from a higher level of perspective of appreciation.
Or God. I mean, we shouldn't be afraid to say that word as well, because I know that there's something very profound in that silence that comes from our connection with that source. So, were you
Absolutely.
born this way? Were you like born?
Well,
Were you born wired to just be creative? Marco, your music, your photography, your presence is it's high. So, were you born this way? Did something happen to you? Did you have an awakening somewhere along the way?
well, in my perception, we are all born in that way because we
Mm.
all come from a very high level of. There is not few lucky ones, like many want us to believe. We are all coming from oneness, so we are all one, and at the same time, we are all special and unique in a very unique way. So yes, I came that way. The difference is that somehow I managed not to fall asleep through the programming that
Mm.
typically humanity is bombarded at the moment of his incarnation. Somehow
Mm.
my heart was stronger than the voices of the program, whether that was my family or the educational system or the social cultural system or the religious system. Somehow I would accept that, of course, I would experience that, but I would never be completely lost into it. So I guess that's the only difference.
Right. So you were more like on the introverted side, would you say?
Well, yes, because I have the tendency to look inside me for the answer rather than the
Yes.
outside.
Yes.
Yes.
So you were like a natural meditator. It's very rare for an Italian to be introverted, by the way.
Yeah, I think you're right. I know.
And I want you to know that it's one of my favorite countries out of the 93 that I visited, and Tuscany,
ah,
Milan, Bologna,
ah,
it's just Florence. It's just been one of my most sacred spaces to escape to. When I had the time, I used to go to Italy a lot. I just love the people, I love the culture, and it's very close to
yeah,
the Indian culture. The family,
yes.
the 10 people in a room speaking 10 things and everybody can understand each other. It's just incredible. I
Right.
just love it there. So,
Yeah, yes,
you have said that music is the fastest conduit to your higher self. Why is this,
yes.
Marco?
Because again, in my I can only share my perception, not the.
Sure.
I mean, I just said what. Okay, so in my perception, we all come from sounds. So when source, in order to have an experience, decides to create, it first creates with the sounds wave. So, for example, a soul is a sounds wave, and then from that
Mhm.
sound, it keep, I mean, shifting into different form, having different experiences. But sound is the first, very first thing that acts as a conduit. And so when we create music that is purely conceived, so when the music is not coming through the mind, it has the
Mhm.
quality of source. It has the ability to dissipate instantly the illusion of separation and of polarity.
Mhm. Wow. It's beautiful. I love music and I listen to it every day and I'll definitely going to be listening more to yours. Many people say a process of awakening is occurring now on the planet. What are your thoughts on this? Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Well, from a broader perspective, the process of awakening never ends, meaning you are never really fully awakened. I mean, if you are fully awakened, basically you go back to source and you don't exist anymore. You're just the zero field. So we are constantly awakening. But being said that, I do believe that these are extraordinary times for humanity and for Mother Earth, and we are going through a massive amount of awakening.
Yes, we sure are. And when you talk about awakening, is it the way that I see it too, that we just don't see the world with just the two eyes that we're seeing it with, but we start to see it from the state that it could be if it was in a very peaceful, harmonious sort of a dimension? Because when you're awakened, it's really a perception inside of you that shifts, right?
Absolutely. Basically, the awakening is the process of remembering who we really are. And with that remembering, we step into a level of full 100% neutrality. So we don't judge
Right.
anymore darkness and light, right and wrongness. Everything becomes love. Through that neutrality, we can go through the idea of polarity and go into oneness.
Yes, definitely. So now, what would you say that musicians have a responsibility at this time? Because with YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, all these different groups, Bandcamp, so many ways now that people can distribute their music out there. And I know that it's important, Marco, for people in particular genres of living in society and economical background that they too need a voice to express it in their songs, in the way that they compose their music. But I have to say there are some songs and music which makes me feel at ease with my body, with my mind. So is there a way somehow as a musician that you can still remain authentic in expressing what you feel without it spilling over in a way that could maybe just disturb your own humanity? I mean, is there a
Yes,
responsibility that musicians should have at this time?
absolutely. I think in many ways you can say that musicians are the one that has the highest level of responsibility on earth because with sound you can literally transform. So, but for a musician to get to that level, I don't know if you know, I think even in your country, in the ancient time, when somebody was sick, they would call the musicians,
Yes,
not the
yes, they
doctors,
did. They did
in,
mantras,
in,
yeah,
in many
yeah.
situations. Yes. But being said that, the challenge for musicians, like the challenge for all of us, is the one to maintain a level of purity, a heart that is pure. And I can see that often musicians, yes, they are able to first have that connection with source and download the pure music. But once the pure music is downloaded, then after that first magical connection with their higher self, then the ego start to get in, and so the music start to be manipulated in order to have an agenda. And that's where the music unfortunately lose the power to really, really go deep into the cellular structure of the audience, into the heart opening process, and it become basically entertainment. And there's nothing wrong with entertainment, but entertainment it entertains you, so entertain your mind with some rare moments of emotional entertainment, but mostly it's a mind involvement. But with music, we have a chance to do much, much, much more than that, and go much, much deeper into the connection with humanity. And so, the level of awakening of the musician will dictate the purity of their music.
Love it. That's so true. That's very true. So we hear a lot about divine feminine energy. Why is this energy crucial too? Because you speak about it. And how can we activate it?
Divine feminine energy is, in a way, we can say, is equally important to male energy. But the reason why it's important now is because it's been repressed for such a long time. Has been the last 10,000 years a planet that is completely male oriented. And so, in order to regain the balance and bring back the experience of being physical on Earth to its original organic blueprint, we do need to reestablish a balance with the female energy. And the female energy basically is our heart. And so we need again to stop our
Mhm.
full involvement with the mind and connect with
Yes.
our heart, open our heart. Yes.
Yes. Yes, very true. Very true. So I was looking at some of your photography, and I just started up with the hobby of photography, Marco, but
Yeah.
they're not even near what you're doing. And how I feel when I look at your images. What would you suggest that I should look out for when I do begin to snap a picture? What is it that you see in an image that when you really produce it. It just captures so much to say.
Yes.
What's your advice for me?
Well, it's really simple, and I think you more than many other people can easily tap into again stillness, because photography, as I quoted other times, is an embrace to stillness, and is the ability, once you connect with your heart, you start to be able to see beauty and miracles in any place, no matter where you are. You can be inside an elevator, you can be in a shopping mall, and if you connect with your heart, you can start to really see the beauty, because beauty is everywhere, because love is everywhere. So when you have that kind of predisposition, and then you position yourself behind the camera, you will be able to capture images with a different vibrational quality.
I'll try that next time. Sometimes I feel like I want. No, no. What I mean, it's like sometimes I feel like I tend to be a very big inclusive junkie. So I don't
Yeah.
always feel comfortable leaving out someone, leaving out something. It can always work. All together we can do it. All together we can do it. And not
Ah,
everybody thinks like that. Most of the people I've met in life are very specific and just one way. And I'm a little bit of a different
yeah.
breed, but I'm definitely going to try that.
Okay.
So, Marco, in terms of your own spiritual efforts, what are some of the things that you're doing to amplify your presence here on the planet? Apart from music and photography, what are those deeper inner workings that are going on within you?
Well, basically, the work, whether you do music photography or you are a postman that deliver mail, it doesn't really matter. Is what is important is that the idea is to be fully yourself. So to awaken more and more to the essence of your truthfulness of yourself. And once you are, the more you are connected to that essence, the more whatever you choose to do has divine content, is a miracle. So basically, the formula for me is just to follow my joy without expectations, removing the expectations, because the expectation create a contraction. So my reward is fulfilled by the act of doing itself. And so in that way, I can be very pure in what I do. Of course, I am not a master. I haven't mastered 100%. I'm constantly working on that to be more myself in anything. And sometimes I lose it, like everybody else, and sometimes I gain it. But I notice that it gets easier and easier the more you dare into the mystery of life.
Yes, that is so true. Now, do you go on tour with your music?
I did in the past, and now I am about to finish a new album. I'm
Oh,
mixing right now the album, and this album, as I go deeper into the creation, is starting to to expand to other qualities. So it's an album that has 8 tracks, and it feels like there is a narrative that is coming through, and with the narrative there might be a book anyway, and so on. Anyway, to answer your question, as soon as I finish the process of complete the process of this album, one of the things I will do is to share it in the shape or form of a concert, which also might have some experiences that are more like into the teaching or the workshop retreat. So it might be concert with the retreat or something like that.
oh, that will be lovely. That will be lovely. I'd love to talk to you more about that. That would be fantastic. As we go deeper into our conversation, and I hope you're enjoying it.
Of course, I am enjoying it very much.
Considering the chaos and the divisiveness, I know Italy's also been going through a lot of instability. America certainly is. Europe, Africa, the Middle East.
Yeah.
There was just a recent bombing of some oil tanks, I believe, in Saudi Arabia. There's a lot of speculation about Iran and all these countries. In other words, there's a lot of
Yeah.
deception and there's a lot of power games going on with those in power. Are
Yeah.
you watching all of these scenes every day? Are you optimistic about the future for our humanity? Do you sometimes get scared? Do you accept it? Is there anything that you're doing to help it?
No, I don't. I don't follow much of it because I am in a situation. I basically the best way to change is not to fight,
Mm,
but is to unplug, is to stop validating with your energy. So you
mm,
unplug from a system, and the system cannot find any more nutrition from you, and eventually will die. Because if you fight, you continue the work of the polarity. You keep validating the game of polarity, good and bad, bad and right and left, dark and light. You continue. But if you become a neutral and you focus yourself on thriving with your own inner gift and do completely a work of service
I
in
like
terms
that.
of offer. Yeah. So
Mhm.
to answer your question, I don't follow so much this news because, as you said, mostly are deceiving and they are a trap
Mhm.
to keep us into the fear, into the concern, into the fear of consequences, into fear of what could happen, and that's the trap that keep us unconscious.
Yes. So, what are you absolutely certain of in life?
I am well. It's a beautiful question. Absolutely certain that we are all love and we are all one, and that we are all amazingly gifted, with no exceptions. And I am certain that this is which we are experiencing right now. It's probably the most amazing journey that a soul can choose. Coming into this planet and experiencing this level of fragmentation and contraction gave us the possibility to be really become masters of our
Lovely.
soulful journey. Yeah.
Lovely. And what does God feel like to you?
Well, the word God is has been so filled with so
Charge.
many again deceptions and emotions and stuff. So we are all God. Everything is God. It doesn't matter in what shape or form. Reality it presents itself in front of you. It is an expression of source, and there
Mhm.
is nothing else but God. You know, there's no
Mhm.
possibility of being in a situation where there is no God. There's always God. Everything is God. I don't use God. I use more like source. I use more like
Source,
life.
right.
Yes,
Sure.
it feels much less dramatic.
Well,
Also, often God sponsors this idea of a male, patriarchic,
um, right,
superior person. Is also this idea of hierarchy. It's also a
right,
deception.
right,
And
right,
he's God, and I'm a small one. That's I don't want to validate that kind of situation. We are all
right.
unique and love. Yes.
Yes, that's beautiful. So, looking at your photography, music, writing, life, have you ever thought about what people can take away? Is there any thought about what you'd love your audience to take away from all that you do?
It's not my concern. For me, it's all a matter of resonance.
Mhm.
So whatever resonates is what you need to experience. So if
Right.
whatever I offer creates a resonance, then it's open and it's welcome. Because fundamentally, it's not my thing. It's not my music. It's not
Sure.
my picture. I'm still playing the game of music by Marco Missinato photography. I'm still playing the game because we are in a situation where that is practically it works, but in truth is just music. It's just photography, you know,
Mhm.
and it's for everybody.
Indeed. Indeed, it is. Marco, it was a delight having you on the air here in the United States, and I'd love to learn more about your work and your art and just the space that you're living in inside and the emergence of that. I think that's the magic. That's the absolute magic about you. And I know you're not aware of it, and I know you don't care about it either. You're just using your gifts and you're sharing it with the planet, and we thank you for that. Is there anything you'd like to share in closing? Any last minute thoughts?
Sure. I would like to invite the audience to consider the idea that at this point of the journey, what is most relevant? What is the most relevant right now is to, again, become neutral. And in order to become true neutral, we need to deprogram ourselves. We have so many programs that we are automatically obeying to. And so at this time, every time we feel a contraction, that's a program that needs to be recognized, and needs to be appreciated, and needs to be let go at. And every time we deprogram ourselves, we become more and more ourselves. And I think this is the best way for us to pass through this time of great transitioning. The next 5, 10 years are going to be major. And if we don't deprogram, then we will go more towards the artificial life. We disconnect more and more. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's also his experience for the soul, because there is no right or wrong. It's just
Right.
whatever the soul needs to experience.
Right. I think you're right. I don't even know if it's going to be within 10 years. I would say within the next 2 to 5 years, we've got a lot of inner soul search work to do to return to a sort of a vibration, a rhythm, a sound, a music that feels like the golden age, like an age in which no one's walking around lacking, having issues all the time, and then spilling out their issues on each other. Even though I know that's a part of life, I think we're all looking for a break where we could just celebrate and just enjoy. I think
Absolutely.
that's what we're looking for.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So leave us with a website where our listeners can get more information on you. And Marco, thank you so much. And come back on air when the new album is released so that we can play it. And any tracks you'd like us to also share on AM radio, please send them out to our producers so we can play them for you. I think your music is
Okay.
fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Best
Thank you.
website?
Yeah, my website is my full name, so www.marcomissinato. The spelling is Marco, and then MISSI, N like Nancy, A, T like Tom, .com. MarcoMissinato.com.
Beautiful. Thank you so very much.
Piacere di
Oh, gosh.
conoscerti.
Thank you very much. I was just said, it's thank you. Thank you for saving me just now. All the very best. Take care.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye. Ciao.
Bye-bye. What a lovely conversation with a lovely man. His spirit from just listening to his music and having this chit chat with me was just really organic, very natural, very easy, very pure. This is how we need to be with one another. It's just, there's so much happening in us that if we can just sort that part out, there'll be no more wars. We will need no police officers, no lawyers. There'll be no guns. There'll be no bombs. There'll be none of that. If we could just sort ourselves out, the change will happen from within. So please go and visit Marco I know how to pronounce his name. I'm just having a hard morning today. But Missinato. And please listen to his music and download it as well. And let us know what you thought about today's conversation. If you happen to be in the Sacramento, California area, join me and many others at the Visionary Summit at the Doubletree Hotel, September 19th to the 22nd. I'll have a wonderful time to meet with you there for sure, but also you'll get a chance to meet a great array of speakers which are looking at really how they can have more innovative conversations in the current time, from Governor Newsom to Chief Brand Marketing at Google, Gopi Kalayil, Michael Bernard Beckwith. We're also going to have Marianne Williamson, who is running for president, where we'll have a live video conversation with her. My wonderful soul sister, Trina Wyatt from Conscious Good Media, and a host of others. Just Patch Adams, who's doing great work, John Wood Jr. from Developing Our Better Angels. It goes on. Look it up at the Visionary Summits in California and let me know what you think. And if you happen to be in California, please come out and see me. Remember, no one can take away your happiness unless you give them permission. And we really are here to love each other the same. I'm going to play Marco's song that I played earlier on again. Just loved it, and I hope you do too. This is Abandonment. Take care, everyone. I'm Sister Jenna. You've been listening to America Meditating Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Did you enjoy that conversation? Because you can also listen to it on Spotify or in iTunes, 24/7, anytime, anywhere. I do trust we all have the inner power to become our very best. When we listen with curiosity to learn more, we grow. So thanks so much for tuning in, and do be easy on yourself. Take care.